Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. This channel offers elementary art lessons taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I look forward to virtually creating with you. There are new lessons posted weekly. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. So go grab your art supplies and your thinking caps and let's begin. Welcome back, pizza makers. Textured pizza artists. Well, welcome back. Now, today is an interesting day because we're going to be adding all of the fun toppings to our pizza. And the goal here is to make each one of them feel different. So like when you touch the mushroom, it has a texture. But when you touch the sausage, it has a different texture. So you might have to walk around your house, get your grown-ups to help you, and figure out what supplies you have around your house that they wouldn't mind you using for some toppings for your pizza. So the supplies I've used today are crayons. That's what I use for my pepperonis. Then I have my green peppers. That's foam paper. It's kind of squishy and spongy. The dark brown crumbles are some tissue paper that I've crumbled up to make sausages. The light brown mushroom shapes are made from felt. And then I have my mozzarella cheese. Is actually some snow that was left over from the winter around Christmas time. Not real snow, of course, but like plastic decorating snow. All right, so you might have to do a little bit of investigating around your house, see what you and your grown-up can come up with, what you can use to make different textures for your texture pizza. All right, let's begin. All right, so I want you to start with the pepperonis we made last time, and let's go ahead and cut those out. So just slowly cut around each one and make a little pile of pepperonis. The scraps that come off of here, you can actually recycle. We don't need these scraps anymore. So go ahead, cut these out, and then you can recycle those scraps. Okay, so now we're going to use some glue. You can use the squeezy glue like I have. This is called Elmer's glue, or you can use glue stick. Whatever you want to use is fine with me for this part. So I'm going to put some glue in little dots on my piece of pizza. You can also put the glue on the back of the little pieces of pepperoni. If you have a glue stick, that's okay too. So I'm going to put just the same amount of dots as I have pepperonis. And then I'm going to stick one pepperoni in each dot of glue. Okay, now you should have another piece of scrap left over from last time. Now I'm going to use this to make my crust. So see how I'm measuring it across the top so that it's the same width as my piece of pizza. So I'm going to make a little mark on the scrap right there at the edge of my pizza and go ahead and cut that edge off. Again, this might be a good time where maybe your grown-up can help you. Now, I don't like how that's slanted up the top, so I'm going to cut straight across the edge here so that it's a rectangle. That's perfect. Now, I'm going to crumble it up like I'm mad at it. Crumble, crumble, crumble. Don't rip it though, but crumble, 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 crumble. This is your crust. And the crust always has sort of a crumbly, bumpy texture. Hey, that's our magic word, texture. So it always has a bumpy, bumpy texture. So here we go, crumble it up as best you can. Look how long I'm taking to crumble mine. The more crumbly, the better it's gonna be. Then, when you think you have it nice and crumbly, you're going to use your glue again. This might be better with the Elmer's glue, the squeezy glue like I have, but if not, you might just have to hold it longer if you do have to use your glue stick. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue across the top up here. Okay, and then I'm going to hold my crumbly crust into that glue, and I'm going to be disappointed because it's not going to stick instantly. You have to let it dry. That's the hardest thing about this kind of glue, is you just have to hold it and wait. Now, my like little saying that goes along with this kind of glue is if it's still white, it's still wet. So that means it's not done doing its job yet. So I need to hold this for a really long time until, see, it's white there. So I still need to hold it a little bit longer because if it's still white, it's still wet and it still can come off. So this really is the hardest part right now, putting this crumbly crust onto your flat pizza and making sure that it sticks. Okay, after you feel like you've held it long enough, you can let go. The glue will continue drying as we continue working on our next part. Okay, so let's see. Let's start the next part with our mushrooms. So I'm going to grab my light brown felt, kind of mushroom colored felt here. If you don't have brown felt, find something else that's light brown. And I'm going to make a rounded shape, kind of like a rainbow, with a flat bottom, just like that. I'm going to use the flat bottom of the felt. Perfect. And make a rounded top of this. Perfect. And then from that little piece of scrap, I'm going to cut off a little like rectangle-y shape, and that is going to be the stem of my mushroom. Perfect. And then I think I'll make another one. I have enough felt here to make another one. Rounded top part. Felt can be tricky to cut, so this is something else where maybe a grown-up could help you out. And another stem. Great. Okay, so these are, again, one of those things where it's not going to stick right away. So 1 dot of glue for my top and 1 dot of glue for my stem. I like when the stem hides under. There we go. And again, 2 dots of glue, 1, 2. One's for the stem and 1 is for the rounded top part. Just stick it in the glue, and I promise if you let it alone, it will stick. If it's still white, still wet, don't touch it. Okay, let's see what's next. All right, so I'm gonna pull in my brown tissue paper. This is a darker brown, and it's a piece of tissue paper like you use for wrapping gifts, actually. I'm gonna cut off a small little piece here and cut off an even smaller little piece. Maybe I'll cut this into 3. And then I'm going to, 4, good job, Mrs. Minto. Then I'm gonna crumble, 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 like I'm gonna throw it away, crumble it up. And those little crumbles will just like little lumps of sausage that you might get on your pizza. Now remember, this pizza isn't about taste, it's about texture. So it doesn't matter if you like sausage or not. I actually don't, but I'm still making it because it's fun to make all these different textures. Not about taste, about texture today. All right, again, remember those little dots of glue are still white, so they're still wet. So just get those crumbles on and let them alone. Let's see what's next. So I have this big bag of like little scraps of foam paper. So I'm just going to grab a couple little dark green scraps. These are going to be perfect for little chunks of green peppers. So I'm going to make green pepper pieces, not green pepper slices. That's a little bit different. Your grown-up might know the difference there. So I'm just making little pieces of green peppers. I'm going to make as many as I want. And then I'm going to, again, 1 little tiny dot of glue for each one and stick them to my pizza. Okay, let's see what's next. Next, I'm going to use my Elmer's glue again and scribble, scribble, scribble some white glue into the spaces around all of my fun toppings I just finished making. So when I do this, I'm making very, very light lines with my glue, squeezing gently and scribbling. The actual orange cap of my glue is touching my pizza crust right now, and making sure that it's not too much glue because I don't want to have too much ooey gooey glue. Now I'm going to use that fake snow that I mentioned earlier, that plastic snow from Christmas time, but if you don't have that, you can also use some white paper that's been cut into little teeny tiny pieces. I've done that before and it works really well too, but this fake snow works pretty well. I like this a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this on all over my pizza. After I sprinkle it all on, I'm going to use my hand to press it down a little bit, and then after it's been pressed down, then I'm going to very gently shake it a little bit so I shake off all of the snow that isn't sticking to my slice of pizza. Now I make sure that I shake it over my newspaper so that I can put whatever was left over back in the bag and use another time. Oh man, this is looking really good. Almost good enough to taste, but remember, this one isn't for tasting, it's for touching. Okay, so let this dry a little bit. We have a lot of glue on here in lots of different places. So let this dry a little bit, and then whenever it's all dry, let your family touch it. Let them feel how each part, the red paint from the first day compared to the pepperonis, the mushrooms, the sauce, everything. Let them touch each different part so that they can feel all the different textures. I hope you had a great time making your texture pizza, and I'll see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking. HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Art Sonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.